George.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm so excited that you're joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Let's go on in. We'll meet up with Christy.
Sounds great.
Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Questions with Christy and I at the Star Team.
Yay.
Today we've got Jann Moylan with Bay Capital joining us today, Bay Capital Mortgage.
Hi.
She is a loan officer here in town, and we had some questions that you guys submitted that we'll be asking her to answer. And yeah, that's about it. We're excited. Let's get you some knowledge.
Well, thank you, Christy and Ashley. I appreciate it, the opportunity to be here.
Awesome. We're so excited. Jann is someone that we work with on a regular basis, and she's easy to work with and awesome. So we enjoy you being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll start off with some questions, like Ashley said, that were submitted to us, and then have Jann answer. So if you have any other questions that we don't address, you can go ahead and message us or comment, and we can get those answered.
Yes.
All right, so question number 1. I am currently spending $1,500 in rent. About how much of a house would that get me?
Well, that's a loaded question because there's a lot that goes into purchasing a home. So if you are set with the $1,500 a month, will that include your taxes and insurance? What kind of property are you going to be purchasing? Will that be a condo with a condo fee? Will it be an HOA property? So there's a lot to it. You can have a $1,500 payment you're comfortable with rent, but it will be a lot less if you account for those other items.
Right.
Also, depending on what kind of financing. So FHA, you're putting a little bit less down than a conventional. So those things all play a role in that. I'm working with somebody right now. The range is between $200 and $250.
That's a
It's
good
a
range.
large range,
Right.
depending on what that person wants to do with his $1,500.
Perfect. And that's, it's fair. It's not like everything is just cut and dry, everyone's the same, but it's nice to have that idea, which we obviously, number one, the first thing you should do when wanting to buy a house is always, always, always get pre-approved because you don't know how much you qualify for.
Exactly.
But it is nice to kind of have an idea of, what you could get.
And it's hard for us to do our job when we don't know what you can afford. So going to a lender like Jann helps us guide you and find the house that would best suit your needs and your budget.
Right. I mean, the last thing you want to do is spend time looking at homes that are, $150,000 when you could afford $300, or vice versa.
Right.
And then it's not really, fair to the buyer or the sellers either. If you're not pre-approved, we're kind of bringing in unqualified people, and that's not, something that's good for any of the parties. Okay, so here's another fun question. How much do I have to put down when I purchase a home?
Well, that's also, you could go anywhere from zero if you are a VA, or if you are thinking about purchasing something in a more rural area for USDA programs. It's 0% down.
And what's a VA for those that don't know?
Veterans. It's a benefit for veterans, so it's a loan that they only can get.
Okay.
It depends on how much cash. There are programs that are conventional that are 3%, but those have limitations, usually income limitations on those type of programs.
Like the USDA that you mentioned?
That has an income limitation as well, and VA has certain qualifying things if they've used their benefits before. 3.5 FHA is that standard. And you can put down 10% on a FHA and actually not have mortgage insurance after a certain time period.
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
is a big benefit for somebody who has cash but might not have the qualifications to go conventional.
That's good to know. I
Yeah.
never knew that.
I didn't either.
I've had people do that.
Okay.
And the USDA, we've actually had a couple, VA and conventional and FHA, we've done them all, but the USDA ones are pretty neat, and there are, just certain areas that qualify for that, but it is a great program. I mean,
Yes.
the last 2 people that we put in that have been extremely happy, so that's a good program too.
It's not really rural.
Right.
If you think of it, so.
Right.
So the next question is, what are interest rates currently starting off at?
That's another loaded question. They're all loaded.
We love them. We love loaded questions.
The industry doesn't allow me to actually quote rates because I have to do an analysis and provide all the disclosures.
Okay.
But the range has been, wide range is like 3 to 7.5, depending on the higher ones are usually non-qualifying mortgages, so non-QM. But
And what does that really mean? Like, what's a non-qualifying mortgage?
people that don't quite fit in the box.
Okay.
So
So if you aren't, with the perfect credit score, the perfect this or the perfect that, there may still be other ways that you can purchase. Just paying a little bit more.
I've had a couple of those, and we have programs for that to help those buyers out if they are in a jam.
That's great to know.
Yes.
Because not everyone's in the box.
Not everyone is in a box. Everyone is different. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
So true. So you said as low as 3%?
And I have one right now at 2.75. So,
Wow.
it just depends on what you're putting down, what your credit is,
The length of
if
the
you want to
loan.
buy your mortgage down a little bit, your rate down a little bit. So it does depend on all those
At buying
things.
points.
Yes.
Which is a little bit confusing and difficult to understand. So definitely something you would want to sit down with Jann or your lender to talk about. the
Right. You
binding
need to
points
have
and
your
stuff.
information analyzed by someone like me, just so you know exactly where you're going.
So another question that we get a lot, what exactly do you have to have? Like, what are the first steps
To get a mortgage?
Yeah. Like, what do we, if I want to get a loan, what do I need to do with you? What do I need to bring you?
So we'll talk on the telephone or in person. I'll go to people's homes. My last client, I went to his home all the time. He was elderly. And to start, we needed to talk about credit. That actually starts the process and kind of lets you know where to go.
Okay.
Because everything revolves around that. That and the cash income.
Right.
Yes. So we'll look at credit and then go from there.
Okay. Fair.
And then once you've looked at credit, do you need any additional
Documentation?
documentation from the buyer? Like, what could they start gathering ahead of time if they know that in the next 3 months we want to start looking at houses? And since the first step is getting pre-approved, I'm still working on my credit, but what other documents should I get just to be fully prepared?
Well, the C's are your capacity, so income, last 30 days of pay stubs from your job, W-2s, tax returns for 2 years, the cash, how much of available cash do you have that you want to put down for your purchase and for your closing costs. You can get away with not paying closing costs depending on how helpful the seller might be and what programs you are interested in, because a conventional will only allow 3% closing cost help from a seller, but FHA is very kind in offering 6%.
Oh, wow.
And you never use 6%, so that actually helps purchase a rate buy down. So we've done amazing things with generous sellers who want to unload their home, and we'll help and support those FHA buyers.
Great.
And do you have a list already put together of what people could start collecting in order to be
I do.
prepared?
I send it out, and if there's any questions, it's pretty cut and dry. But if they have any questions, they're always welcome to call me. I'm usually contacting them back within about 2 hours.
I love that response time.
Yeah.
I know, I had one person.
We've reached out to her all times a day, 7 days a week, including some holidays. So she's good at responding and answering and picking up phone calls. She's not a bank.
No, and
Not
if you
big
don't hear
yourselves.
from me, I might be, something's wrong with me, or I never received it. So
Yeah.
that is,
Don't hesitate to reach out again.
right, please do, because that's not like me.
And if you want to get a copy of that list that she was talking about, just comment your information and we'd be happy to get that for you.
We might be able to even include a link.
Oh, yeah.
We can
Good
include
idea.
a link in the comments section below. And
And there's also, I have a list of things of what not to do. So when you're preparing when you're thinking about, hey, I want to buy a home. Well, there's a lot of people that have put cash away into a sofa or mattress money, and you can't just put that into the bank, because we need 2 months worth of bank statements showing the balance already there. So you don't want to go out and purchase anything big. You don't want to put in
Don't buy a car.
cash. I wouldn't buy a car until it's all said and done, because then if it doesn't show on your credit, we have to make sure it does show on your credit and get updated information.
And that's a good point, the no list as well.
Yeah.
It's not just what to do to be prepared, it's what to do,
What not to do. Yeah.
to be prepared.
Right, exactly.
And it's often overlooked, especially like when you're further in the contract game and stuff.
And you're so excited to get that furniture
Yeah.
to fit into your new home, and
And if you're
Yeah.
like working W-2 and then you go into self-employment, well, self-employment, you need 2 years to be averaged out, and there's always some kind of a glitch. So you want to make sure you're fully prepared and don't make major changes right before you want to go purchase a home.
right, very good.
We can include that link as well, your do not do list,
Yeah.
What not to do.
what not to do. All right, next question. Do you recommend a 30-year or a 15-year mortgage?
I don't recommend. I actually give my clients options.
Okay.
It is up to them what they feel comfortable with. Now, a 15-year loan is wonderful. You pay it off early. The rates are slightly lower, so that's
okay.
always a benefit. But a lot of people don't want that monthly payment because you are condensing
15 years.
15 years. And you can do the same thing with a 30-year by putting in extra money every month or once a year into your principal. So you can kind of control it, and then you have that luxury if you're having a rough month or you have something break down and you have to purchase another car, then you have that luxury of not putting that extra money to principal and having that debt every month.
Instead of having that huge mortgage payment.
Right.
Okay.
You're more in control.
That's good. That's good. Do you have any first-time home buyer programs?
First-time home buyer
Because we
programs.
get that a lot.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, it was something that's always said. It's like, do you have any Tylenol? Well, I have Aleve and I have Motrin, and everyone can be a first-time home buyer in some of these programs. They're amazing programs. So that if you had bought and sold yesterday, I can go into one of these programs that are really beneficial because they're low down payment and technically be a first-time home buyer again. So that's really kind of
So it's not like,
anymore.
okay, it's a little different than it used to be.
It's wide open to everybody pretty much now. There's different programs for everybody, and but it's not limiting. That's not a good word. It doesn't limit buyers, young or old.
Okay.
All right. What should you expect for closing costs as a buyer?
So closing costs are made up of lender's fees, title fees, prepaid fees.
What's an example of a prepaid fee?
So your taxes and your insurance.
Okay.
Insurance is paid 1 year up front, and if you're escrowed, you know they collect money for a few months and put it into the account for reserves in case there's any fluctuation after a year of paying of your increase in the tax or insurance. So that's what I mean by prepaid items. It's not completely made up of just fees from the title company or lender.
Okay.
And there also can be discounts in there from the seller. Like I mentioned before, 3% for conventionals, up to 6% for FHA, and lender's credits go in there as well.
Okay. So it kind of depends on the purchase price and then the insurance. So
The
it
loan amount.
varies a lot.
It pretty much goes on the loan amount. And, yeah.
Okay. And so when someone sits down with you and you've done the credit and you've done all that, you can pretty much tell them based on what they're approved for an idea of what they would need for closing costs?
Yes.
Okay.
We look at what they're selling, the purchasing price, and then yes, what their loan amount is, and then we can really hone in on what the fees are. And we usually overestimate just a little bit to make everybody happy.
Right.
We're not going to lie about our fees, because they're pretty much standard anyway.
Right.
So we're always on the dime, and actually a little above, so they get a check back or something. So they're happy.
That's always fun.
But yeah, they'll know exactly what they need to come up with.
Okay.
At least with me.
Yeah. Ashley, do you want to ask the last question?
Sure. Okay. What are financing options if I wanted to purchase vacant with acres in Vero and finance to be able to build a home from scratch and for a first-time home buyer? they're kind of debating whether it's worthwhile financially in the Treasure Coast to kind of weigh out homes that have already been built versus financing options for vacant land to build. And it's that,
Okay.
we've got a lot of people going back and forth. A custom built home is always shiny. That's always like the American goal is,
Right.
is not only to be a homeowner, but to take it a step further and build your own home. So
Right.
we've got a lot of people wondering, like, which way should we go? Is resale really our only option because of financing, positioning, or what does it take in order to buy vacant, build on it?
Generally, you can buy a lot, and if you own it, it depends if you own a lot or if you're going to buy the lot.
Okay.
If you have a builder in mind, or if you're going to try to be your own builder, there are restrictions for those. There is a construction perm loan and there's a construction loan. So construction perm converts to a permanent loan after it's built.
Okay.
If you have a builder in mind and you're buying a lot, usually you have to put more money down because it's 20%. Because the thought process behind it is that anybody can walk away, and that's the same thought process if you're self-built. They believe,
They want you to have a little bit more skin in the game.
Yes, exactly.
And not be a super risky file.
Right. And every builder kind of has to go through a qualification as well, just like a buyer would with pretty much all the companies. So
Okay. So there are options.
there are options if you want to do that. Yes.
Okay. Good to know.
I've done it.
And are the rates just any different? Like,
They-
you penalize kind of and have a higher rate because you're building, or is it all competitive to whatever's going on in the market at the moment?
It depends on what's going on in the market, to be honest with you. And there are great end loans after the build is done. The construction period can vary a little bit, but
And it's a little more lenient, right, on your payments and stuff during the construction phase, or is it the same as the permanent?
no, I mean they're pretty tight, and they give you kind of draws
Okay.
throughout. So it's set in stone, kind of, pretty much. And they have inspectors that go out in the homes and see the progress and make sure everything is going in line.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for all this information you gave us today, and I hope it helped you guys out there. Any additional questions, just let us know.
We'd love to answer.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're really happy to answer
Please
them.
give me a code.
Yeah. So thanks again for coming. We really enjoyed having you, and we can't wait to hear many successes from everyone that uses you from here on out.
Thank you so much, Ashley and Christy. I appreciate being here today, and I'll be happy to answer anybody's questions. Even if I can't help you, I can at least direct you. I've done that before and worked with other lenders who I trust, and they're not many. But I'll be happy to, answer any questions.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and we'll put our contact also in the comments, so if you ever have questions, you can reach out to Jann.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.